Well, I do apologize that we're getting on a little bit later than we would like. Please forgive me. All I have to say, in my defense, I know it's not going to be justifiable enough. Life sometimes can get the best of you. But we're still getting this on before the season opener for the Sooners when they play the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Let's talk about the defense. Part number 2. We talked about the offensive part number 1. We're going to talk about the defense, and then later on the special teams for the Sooners, and they should have a good year in both categories. Defense returns 7 starters from last year's team that finished in the top 20 when it came to giving up total yards, only 350 per game. That's one heck of an average for this team that in the past had numbers higher than that on defense. They also, too, only gave up 22 points per game. It's one of the better averages in the country as well. So what led to the improvement for the OU defense for Mike Stoops' squad? Defensive line, in my opinion. This is going to be the strongest area for the Sooners this season amongst the 3 major layers of D-line, linebacker, and secondary. We returned everybody on the defensive line. They, I thought, overachieved in 2013. 2014, I think, could be even better because they'll have backup players that will fit in and be a part of that rotation that should be solid again for the Sooners. Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips played only 4 games last year at defensive tackle, but when he was in there, it was a game changer because opposing offenses couldn't run as well as they could without him in the game. In between the tackles, it is going to be hard for anybody to try to stop this guy. You're not going to be able to drive him back either, unless you're like Hercules, or get a double team on him. He's 6'6", nearly 340 pounds. That's a load right there. And again, he does a great job when it comes to defending the run. The defensive ends, these guys are good against the run, but really when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback, they're veterans too. And Chuka and Dulale. And Dulale, he's been there a while, so he brings veteran leadership to the squad. And the guy that really had one of those breakout years was Charles Tapper, especially in the month of November and in the bowl game against Alabama. We saw that he's an absolute menace in the backfield. Charles Tapper, his stock continues to rise. Part of that rotation this year for Oklahoma, Jordan Wade, and you also have DJ Ward, the former product from the metro area, plays high school ball, I believe in the Moore area, and then also Matt Diamond. You'll have him out of Katy, Texas. So expect these 6 and maybe some more to get heavily involved on that defensive line for the Sooners. OU will run a lot of 3-3-5, 3-4 type alignment defenses, but it should be, except in goal line, you'll see a lot of 3 defensive line sets for the Sooners. That's because they've got speed, and you're going to see the linebackers have another good season. Linebackers on the outside will be the strength of this team. That's where the experience lies. You have a guy by the name of Geneo Grissom. Grissom, he's a veteran, just like Ndulale. And just like Ndulale, Grissom used to play on the defensive line. Now they're going to move Grissom to outside linebacker, take advantage of that speed. We'll see how he does as far as cover skills this season full-time for the Sooners. That's the right side of linebacker. Left side of linebacker, guy could be an All-American this year. Erik Striker, not to be confused with the Robert Hayes character of Ted Striker in those great airplane movies that are amongst the funniest when it comes to slapstick. No, this is Erik Striker. He'll live up to his last name in all likelihood. He'll strike you, tackle you, put a lick on you. But the thing that impresses me the most is close down speed, closer he gets to the pocket. You can ask Tommy Reese that in that game at South Bend against Notre Dame a year ago. Early on, OU jumped on him 14-0 the first 6 minutes of the game, and one of the biggest reasons for that was the play that Striker made on Notre Dame's opening possession, or second possession, I believe, in which Striker was able to hit Reese from the blind side, had the ball free, and then you had a touchdown for the Sooners just like that. Who knows how that game might have ended if OU hadn't gotten those 14 quick points, and you can thank Striker for that. And Striker, I think, could have an All-American type season. He's already being regarded as first-team All-American to at least one major publication. The inside linebackers, not as experienced. One of the biggest reasons why is because you don't have the play of Corey Nelson. Nelson finally ran out of eligibility. And one guy you thought you were going to have back before the spring, but unfortunately his sexual assault case was just too much for OU to take. And not the NCAA, but OU suspended him for a year, even though he's never been officially charged in this case. Frank Shannon. Shannon would have been the leading returning tackler for the Sooners. And pretty much, if you didn't believe it after you heard OU mention the suspension and thought maybe they'd reconsider, you're not seeing him anywhere on the most recent depth chart for this opener against Louisiana Tech. Not first string, not second string, not any string whatsoever, even though he had been practicing with the team during most of the month of August. So you got to have other guys step up. Got to have a guy like Dominic Alexander come in, who played all 13 games last year. The former Booker T product started in 8, and did that predominantly because of the injury to Corey Nelson, who didn't get to fully finish out his final year there. The other linebacking position, Jordan Evans. Guy knows the city of Norman pretty well because he played his high school ball in Norman. He was a Timberwolf at Norman North High School. And Jordan Evans played 8 games a year ago for the Crimson and Cream. P.L. Lindley, they're going to have to count on him. He played some last season, and Aaron Franklin played quite a bit, played 11 games. So those guys will fit into the system as well. I love the outside linebacking core. The inside has a chance to develop, but right now, not quite on the same level as the outside linebackers. If you look at the secondary, it's no coincidence, that the corners are going to be very, very good, okay? And just like the linebackers are going to be better on the outside than the inside. The secondary is going to be better on the outside with the corners than the safeties. At least you would think so by the eye test and by the experience level because of the fact that you've got Zack Sanchez at one corner. Of course, last season had the long touchdown run against K-State for a touchdown off a interception. Almost took one to the house against A.J. McCarron in Alabama at that Sugar Bowl. Breaks to that ball incredibly fast. Good tackle guy, good cover guy, and he made the freshman All-American team last season, just like Dominic Alexander did. So that part solidified. The other part, you'll have Julian Wilson, who I didn't really know if they were going to, have him at corner to start the year or use him as a nickelback, have him play safety. They're going to stick with him at corner, the former sophomore star, Julian Wilson. You'll have him at the other corner spot. So you got a lot of experience there. But the safeties positions, not that it won't be valuable for OU, but they are just not as experienced in this area. One reason why is because you'll have pretty much a new-time starter there. Guy's got potential, but we're going to see just how well he can play in Amon Thomas. Came from a very successful high school, though. One of the more successful high school programs in the country, Miami Central, Florida. They have produced 13 players in the NFL, including running back Willis McGahee. So Thomas does know what it's like to come from a football factory. Quentin Hayes, we'll see him play a lot of nickelback, basically. He'll play starting safety when they only run 4 DBs as well. The former Lancaster, Texas product, Quentin Hayes. As far as the backups, Atari Bird, former Fresno Central player, California. We'll expect to see him. And guy I'm really excited to see, finally get to see what Stephen Parker is all about. Now, being in the Oklahoma City metro area, which I am, don't get a chance to watch a lot of Tulsa football. But he was an absolute stud at Jinx. Several Division I programs wanted him, including Nebraska. Parker, though, wanted to play for the Sooners. And he's not going to officially start on Saturday, but I can promise you he will play, especially if the game gets out of hand for the Sooners in their favor, which we're expecting to happen. All right, now we're going to talk about the special teams for the Sooners. This should be a strong area, just like the offense, just like the defense. And you return so much experience at place kicking, and you have one of the best in the country. Michael Hunnicutt last season had 27 field goal attempts, made 24 of them. Over 90% of the time, that kick split the uprights. If it's within 45 yards, count it good, in all likelihood. Okay, but he's shown the ability that he can hit them beyond 50 as well. 3 points is never as good as 7. Don't get me wrong, but 3 is a lot better than nothing. If you can get it within your opponent's 30-yard line and your drive should stall, at least you get that reliability that you can get some points out of that possession. And with OU, gunning for that college football 14 playoff, you need all the help you can get, and special teams can never be neglected. And you have an assurance right there with Hunnicutt. Jed Barnett, how important was he last year for Oklahoma? That game against Kansas State near the end of the year, early fourth quarter, Sooners only up by 3. They had the punt, and he delivered a punt at the 3-yard line near Coffin Corner style. K-State had to go 3 and out, following series, and then the punt to OU's Jalen Saunders. He almost runs it back for a touchdown. OU would eventually score to make it a 10-point lead from 3. And you can go back to that critical play by Barnett on that punt inside the 5 that really dictated how K-State would run that following possession. They played it conservative right into the hands of the Sooners. But field position can never, ever be something that you never think about that much. You have to think about it a lot. Sometimes it could dictate how you run a play, and having a good punter could be a weapon. Long snapper, Wesley Horky. And I normally never would talk about something like this, but it was very interesting because I was listening to that press conference that Bob Stoops had early in August, his first major press conference, and he actually praised his long snapper of all people. Said that he is a magnificent long snapper, gets the ball back there quick, gets it back there precisely. And when you sometimes will have the punt return team from the other side rush as many as 10 players, you got to get that punt off, the snap off fast, the punt off fast, of course, too. But if that snap's not on the money, if it gets back there too slow, that punt could get rejected, and that could be a momentum changer. So Wesley Horky, if OU does not get a punt block this year, he'll be a big reason why. You will miss Jalen Saunders returning punts, and he was valuable not just last year, but the year before that as well. So you do miss a weapon there. Sterling Shepard, he'll handle that duty full-time. And also, too, Micaiah Quick, a freshman, will probably get his shot at it too, and Zack Sanchez as well. 3 speedsters, and that's what Bob Stoops likes to do, utilize that speed even though they are players on offense or defense, okay? A lot of special teams players also play on offense and defense for Bob Stoops. It's just how he likes it. And Alex Ross and Duran Neal will handle the kick return duties for the Sooners. That's my look at the defense and special teams for Oklahoma. One more preview to go. I'm going to break down the schedule coming up and give you my prediction on how OU will finish and if they'll make that 14 playoff. Thanks, everybody.